I'm a 29-year-old line cook at the Rusty Anchor, a divey seafood joint in a coastal town that smells like fried clams and regret. It's the kind of place where the jukebox only plays Jimmy Buffett and the regulars argue about crab trap regulations like it's the UN. I've been slinging crab cakes and lobster rolls for 2 years and I love the chaos, grease burns, shouted orders, the hiss of the fryer. It's my zen. But my coworker, Chad, is a walking stress test. Chad's 25, looks like he auditioned for a surfer movie and acts like he's doing us a favor by showing up. He's charming when he wants to be, flirts with the waitresses, fist bumps the busboys, but the guy treats closing shifts like a suggestion. He'll vanish 30 minutes early, leaving me to scrub the grill, mop the floors, and lock up while he's probably halfway to some beach bonfire. His excuses are legendary: gotta check on my dog, my buddy's car broke down, or my favorite, I ate too much shrimp and need to lie down. Bro, we work with shrimp. I've covered for him maybe a dozen times, mostly because I didn't want the kitchen to implode, but it's gotten old. My back aches, my sneakers are permanently oil-stained, and I'm not his personal cleanup crew. The rest of the crew is a mixed bag. Our manager, Tina, is a no-nonsense chain smoker who runs the place like a pirate ship, efficient but terrifying. She knows Chad's a slacker but keeps him because he's good with customers and hasn't burned the place down yet. There's also Lena, a server who's been here forever and has a sixth sense for when you're slacking, and Jake, the prep cook who's quiet but will side-eye you into next week if you mess up his mise en place. We're a tight team, mostly, but Chad's been testing everyone's patience. Last week, shit hit the fan. It was a brutal Friday night, tourists flooding in, orders stacked up, and the kitchen hotter than Satan's armpit. Chad was on closing with me, and I caught him eyeing the clock at 9:30 p.m., an hour before we even start shutting down. Sure enough, at 10:15, he's wiping his hands on his apron, muttering about a family emergency, and before I can say, "You're full of it," he's out the door. I'm left with a sink full of dishes, a greasy flat top, and a burning desire to yeet his surfboard into the ocean. Tina wasn't there, so I couldn't even snitch. I closed alone, got home at 1 a.m., and swore I was done covering for him. Fast forward to Wednesday. Chad texts me at noon. "Yo, can you take my shift tonight? Got a thing." No details, no please, just vibes. I'm already scheduled for a double and my knees are screaming from yesterday's rush. I text back, "Nah man, I'm beat. You're on." He hits me with, "Come on, don't be like that. Team player, right?" I ignore it. An hour later, he calls me, voice all wounded like I kicked his puppy. "Dude, I really need this. You're screwing me over." I snap. "Screwing you over? You leave early every shift, Chad. I'm not your mom. Figure it out." He goes quiet, then mutters, "Wow, didn't know you were such a traitor to the team," and hangs up. That night, I'm at the grill, flipping burgers, when Chad shows up for his shift looking like he's auditioning for Grumpy Cat. He's slamming pans, giving me the cold shoulder, and telling Lena I screwed him over. Lena, who's heard my rants about Chad's vanishing act, just raises an eyebrow and says, "Sounds like a you problem, Chad." But Jake, who's newer and doesn't know the full history, pulls me aside and says, "Why didn't you help him out? We're supposed to have each other's backs." I explain Chad's pattern, but Jake just shrugs, like I'm making a big deal out of nothing. By the end of the night, the vibe in the kitchen is frostier than the walk-in freezer. The next day, Tina calls me into her office, which is basically a closet with a desk and a fan that doesn't work. She's puffing on a vape, looking annoyed. "Heard you and Chad are beefing. He says you refused to cover his shift and called him out in front of everyone." I lay it all out: his early exits, the shrimp excuse, how I'm always stuck cleaning up. Tina sighs, rubbing her temples. "Chad's a pain, but we're short-staffed. You could have just taken the shift and talked to me later. Now he's whining and I've got a headache." She doesn't punish me, but I can tell she's pissed at the drama. Chad's been telling everyone I'm not a team player, and half the crew thinks I'm petty for not sucking it up. Lena's on my side, but she's one voice in a loud kitchen. I'm torn. On one hand, I'm sick of Chad's BS. Covering his shift would have been enabling him, and I've got my own life, bills, a bad knee, and a dog who doesn't understand why I'm never home. On the other, maybe I could have handled it better, like talking to Tina first or calling Chad out face-to-face instead of over text. The Rusty Anchor's a small world, and this beef is making shifts awkward. I just wanted to set a boundary, but now I'm the bad guy to half the crew. AITA for refusing to cover Chad's shift, or should I have just played nice to keep the peace? I'm a 32-year-old cashier at Quickmart, a 24-hour convenience store in a sleepy suburb where the biggest drama is usually someone forgetting their reusable bags. The job's not glamorous, fluorescent lights, sticky floors, and a coffee machine that sounds like it's coughing up a lung, but it pays the bills and I like the rhythm. Skin items, crack jokes with regulars, restock the Red Bull display. It's predictable, which I need since my life outside work is a mess, divorce, fallout, custody battles, you name it. My work partner, Jess, is the opposite, chaotic, loud, and always 5 minutes away from a TikTok dance in the chip aisle. Jess is 26, has neon pink hair, and wears glittery nails that click on the counter like a tiny drum solo. She's fun, don't get me wrong, customers love her stories about her side gig as a tarot reader, and she's got this contagious laugh that makes even the grumpiest trucker smile. But her work ethic? Non-existent. She's supposed to share the register with me during our 10-hour shifts, but she's always taking 5 that turns into 20. Her breaks are epic sagas, scrolling X, filming videos behind the Slurpee machine, or calling her girlfriend to argue about who forgot to feed their pet iguana, Draco. Meanwhile, I'm stuck handling a line of customers, restocking cigarettes, and sweeping up spilled nacho cheese. I've timed her quick breaks average 90 minutes a shift. I'm not her babysitter, but I'm doing her job. Our boss, Raj, is a chill guy in his 40s who runs 3 Quick Marts and smells like curry because he's always testing recipes for his side hustle, a food truck. He trusts us to keep the store running, which is great until it's not. The other cashier, Miguel, is a college kid who works nights and minds his own business, but he's noticed Jess's vanishing act too. He'll give me a sympathetic nod when I'm drowning in customers while Jess is outside practicing her manifestation affirmations or whatever. I've tried talking to her casually like, hey, can you stick around? It's slammed. She just winks, says, you got this, champ, and disappears. I've covered for her for months because I hate confrontation and frankly, I need this job. But my patience is thinner than the store's generic brand paper towels. Last Tuesday, it all boiled over. It was a hectic evening, soccer moms buying energy drinks, teens grabbing vapes, and a guy who paid for a Snickers and pennies. Jess was on her 3rd break of the shift, sitting on a milk crate out back, scrolling X and cackling at some meme about Mercury retrograde. I was juggling 2 registers, a spilled Mountain Dew, and a Karen yelling about expired coupons. My head was pounding, my feet ached, and I hadn't eaten since breakfast. When Jess finally strolled back in, glitter nails flashing, she had the nerve to say, wow, you look stressed. You should try yoga. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. After we closed, I was mopping the floor while Jess organized the candy rack, aka 8 Skittles. Raj stopped by to check inventory and I couldn't hold it in anymore. While Jess was in the bathroom, I pulled him aside and spilled everything, her long breaks, the TikTok marathons, how I'm doing double the work. I wasn't trying to get her fired, I just wanted him to know why I'm burned out. Raj nodded, scribbling on his clipboard, and said, thanks for the heads up. I'll handle it. I felt a mix of relief and guilt like I just snitched on a friend. The next day, Jess came in with a face like a thunderstorm. She cornered me by the hot dog roller, her voice low and sharp. You told Raj I'm slacking? That's low, man. I thought we were a team. You're such a traitor. I tried to explain how I'm exhausted, how it's not fair, but she cut me off. You could have talked to me first. Now Raj is watching me like a hawk. Thanks a lot. She stormed off to restock the fridge, slamming bottles around like they personally offended her. I felt like garbage. Maybe I should have confronted her directly, but I tried that and she brushed me off. What was I supposed to do, keep eating her workload forever? Since then, the store's been a war zone. Jess barely talks to me, just glares over her energy drink while I ring up customers. She stopped taking long breaks, but now she's painfully slow at the register like she's punishing me by making customers wait. Miguel overheard her telling a regular I'm a backstabber, and yesterday she posted a vague X rant about snitches in the workplace with a snake emoji. Great. Raj hasn't said anything else, but I catch him eyeing us both like he's waiting for round 2. The vibe is so tense I dread clocking in. I'm second-guessing myself. I was just trying to survive my shifts without collapsing, but maybe I betrayed Jess by going to Raj instead of giving her another chance. She's not a bad person, she's helped me cover a shift when my kid was sick and she always shares her Red Bull. But I can't keep carrying her weight. My stress is through the roof and I'm worried this drama's gonna make work unbearable. AITA for telling Raj about Jess's breaks, or should I have handled it differently to keep the peace? I'm a 34-year-old data analyst at a mid-sized marketing firm in a glass and steel office park that feels like a spaceship designed by accountants. My job is crunching numbers, building dashboards, and pretending I understand what synergy means in meetings. I'm good at it, my reports are clean, my pivot tables are sexy, but the social stuff? Hard pass. Office parties, with their lukewarm Pinot Grigio and fun icebreakers, make my skin crawl. I'd rather reorganize my spice rack or binge a true crime podcast than fake laugh at a coworker's pun about KPIs. Our office is a quirky ecosystem. My desk neighbor, Priya, is a graphic designer who hums Bollywood songs and keeps a tiny cactus named Spike. She's sweet but loves gossip, always whispering about who's dating who. There's also Greg, the sales guy who calls everyone champ and wears loafers without socks, and Marla, our HR rep, who's obsessed with team building and sends Slack messages with too many emojis. My boss, Diane, is a no-nonsense type who smells like lavender and expects you to show face at company events. I get along with everyone fine, but I'm not here to make BFFs. I clock in, do my work, and dip. The holiday party last week was the big event. Marla had been hyping it for months, sending calendar invites with dancing Santa gifts and promising epic surprises. It was held at the Loft, a trendy venue downtown with exposed brick and overpriced cocktails. The invite mentioned a secret Santa, a photo booth, and God help me, a karaoke machine. I knew it'd be a circus, Greg belting Sweet Caroline, Priya oversharing about her Tinder dates, and Diane giving a speech about our company family. I'd gone to one of these parties 2 years ago, got stuck playing charades with a drunk intern, and swore, never again. So I RSVP'd no with a polite, sorry, got plans, and thought that was that. Except it wasn't. The day before the party, Priya cornered me at the coffee machine, stirring her chai latte with a bamboo straw. You're really not coming? It's gonna be so fun. You can't just sit at home. I shrugged, said I wasn't into parties, and changed the subject to her cactus. Then Greg chimed in from his cubicle, what, you too good for us, champ? I laughed it off, but Marla overheard and gave me a look like I'd kicked a puppy. By lunch, the office Slack was buzzing with memes about Grinch vibes, and I'm pretty sure they were about me. The night of the party, I stayed home, ordered pad thai, and rewatched The Witcher. It was bliss me, my couch, no small talk. But when I got to work Monday, the vibe was off. Priya barely looked up from her sketch pad. Greg muttered, must be nice to be above it all, when I passed his desk. Even Diane pulled me aside, her lavender scent overwhelming, and said, skipping the party sends a message, you know. People notice. I tried to explain I just don't like parties, it's not personal, but she pursed her lips and said, team spirit matters. Then Marla sent a company-wide email with party photos and someone, probably Greg, replied all with, wish everyone could have made it. Passive-aggressive much? The kicker came at lunch. I was heating up my leftovers in the break room when Priya and 2 other coworkers walked in mid-conversation. It's like he thinks he's better than us, Priya said, then froze when she saw me. I pretended not to hear, but it stung. I'm not arrogant, I'm just introverted and allergic to forced fun. I don't care if Greg sings karaoke or Marla does the Macarena. I've never missed a deadline or snubbed anyone's birthday cake. But now the office thinks I'm a stuck-up loner. Priya stopped humming near me, Greg's champ has turned into a grunt, and Marla keeps sending me articles about workplace culture on Slack. I'm torn. On one hand, I shouldn't have to fake enthusiasm for something I hate. My work speaks for itself, and I'm not paid to play Secret Santa. I've got my own life, bills, a cat who barfs on my rug, and a therapist who says I need to honor my boundaries. On the other, maybe I underestimated how much these events matter to the team. Priya looked genuinely hurt, and Diane's comment about sending a message has me worried about my next performance review. I could have shown up for an hour, sipped a soda, and left. Now I'm the office Scrooge and it's messing with my head. AITA for skipping the party, or are my coworkers overreacting to my need for space? I'm a 37-year-old project manager at a small urban planning firm tucked in a converted warehouse in a gentrifying part of town. Our office is an open-plan hipster paradise, think exposed pipes, succulents on every desk, and a kombucha tap in the break room. It's chill, collaborative, and loud as hell when someone's got their AirPods cranked. I'm the guy who keeps our street redesigns and bike lane proposals on track, which means I spend my days wrangling spreadsheets, calming down angry city council members, and drinking enough coffee to power a small nation. I'm not a buzzkill, but I need focus to avoid screwing up a $2 million grant application. Enter Theo, the new GIS analyst who started 3 weeks ago. He's 24, fresh out of grad school, with a man bun, a wardrobe of thrifted cardigans, and a voice that could wake a coma patient. Theo's job is mapping flood zones and traffic patterns, but his real passion seems to be belting indie folk tunes at his desk like he's auditioning for a Bon Iver cover band. Picture him swaying, eyes closed, singing "Ooh, My Heart's a River" flowing to the sea while I'm trying to calculate pavement widths. It's not just humming, it's full-on, vibrato-heavy performance art. He'll switch to musical theater bangers or lo-fi rap depending on his mood, and it's loud enough to drown out my noise-canceling headphones. The rest of the team is a colorful bunch. My work wife, Samira, is a planner who blasts reggaeton during lunch and keeps a stash of spicy mango gummies in her drawer. She finds Theo's singing cute but admits it's distracting. Our boss, Carla, is a granola-crunching urbanist who bikes to work and loves creative energy but gets twitchy when deadlines loom. Then there's Nate, the quiet intern who wears the same black hoodie every day and flinches when Theo hits a high note. We all get along mostly, but Theo's one-man concert is testing the office's zen. I tried to let it slide at first. Theo's young, eager, and his maps are solid. Guy knows his ArcGIS. Maybe he'd chill out once he settled in. But by week 2, his singing was a daily soundtrack, and I was losing my mind. I'd be on a call with a client explaining setback regulations while Theo's crooning about whiskey and Starlight 2 desks over. Samira started giggling during one of his performances, which only egged him on. I hinted gently once, saying, "Hey, Theo, maybe keep it down a bit?" He just grinned, said, "Music's my outlet, man," and launched into a Mumford & Sons deep cut. Last Thursday, I snapped. It was crunch time for a pedestrian plaza proposal, and I was triple-checking budget numbers when Theo started belting "Defying Gravity" from Wicked, complete with dramatic arm gestures. My left eye twitched. I wheeled my chair over and said, "Theo, buddy, can you stop singing? It's super distracting and I'm on a deadline." He froze mid-note, looking like I'd slapped his puppy. "Whoa, I'm just expressing myself," he said, voice all wounded. "This is a creative space, right? You're kinda suppressing my individuality." I blinked, caught off guard. "I'm not saying don't be you," I replied. "Just, maybe express it quieter? Or in the break room." He crossed his arms, muttered, "Didn't know this was a library," and put his headphones on, glaring at his monitor. The office went silent. Samira raised her eyebrows from across the room, and Nate sank lower in his hoodie. By lunch, Theo was back to singing, but softer, like he was making a point. Samira pulled me aside at the kombucha tap and said, "He's just young, you know? Maybe cut him some slack." But later, she admitted she'd muted a Teams call because Theo's rendition of Skinny Love was bleeding through. Carla caught wind of the tension and sent a vague Slack message about balancing personal expression with productivity, which felt like a jab at me. Then Friday, I overheard Theo telling Nate, "Some people can't handle joy." Nate just nodded, but I felt my blood pressure spike. Now the office is split. Samira's team live and let live, saying Theo's singing boosts morale and I should chill. Nate's on my side, quietly texting me "thank you" after I spoke up, but he won't say it out loud. Carla's playing Switzerland, but I'm worried she thinks I'm the fun police, which could hurt my chances at the senior manager role I'm eyeing. Theo's still singing, less loudly but with this defiant vibe, like he's daring me to complain again. He even left a sticky note on his desk that says "Let the river flow" with a winky face. I'm not trying to crush his soul, but I can't think straight with his folk opera in my ears. My stress dreams now feature banjos. I'm second-guessing myself. Maybe I was too harsh and I should have let his singing slide until the deadline passed. The office is supposed to be creative and Carla's always banging on about vibrant culture. Theo's not a bad kid and I don't want him to feel stifled. But I'm drowning in work, my focus is shot, and I don't think it's unreasonable to want a semi-quiet desk. I could have approached it differently, maybe asked Carla to mediate or made a joke to soften the blow. Now I'm the guy who hates joy and it's messing with my head. AITA for telling Theo to stop singing, or is he overreacting by making me the villain? I'm a 30-year-old content strategist at a digital marketing agency in a loft-style office where every wall is a whiteboard and the air smells like artisanal coffee. My job is dreaming up campaigns, social media hooks, viral video concepts, snappy taglines that make brands look cooler than they are. I love the creative buzz, sketching ideas on my iPad while blasting lo-fi beats, but the open-plan office means everyone's in everyone's business. And by everyone, I mean Derek, the human equivalent of a seagull swooping in to snatch your fries. Derek's 35, a senior strategist with a goatee and a knack for saying, "Let's circle back" in every meeting. He's charming, loud, and has a handshake that feels like a contract. Problem is, he's built his reputation on other people's ideas. Last year, I pitched a meme-driven campaign for a local brewery complete with a "Beer Me Up, Scotty" hashtag. Derek tweaked it in the client meeting, presented it as his brainchild, and got a shout-out in the company newsletter. Same thing happened with my coworker Aisha's influencer strategy. She did the research, Derek took the mic, and suddenly he's the thought leader. We've all grumbled about it, but nobody calls him out because he's tight with our boss, Vanessa, who thinks he's a creative genius. The rest of the team's a mix. Aisha's a whip-smart social media manager who doodles manga in her notebook and rolls her eyes at Derek's monologues. Leo, our video editor, is a chill dude who wears beanies indoors and lives for After Effects but stays out of drama. Vanessa runs the show like a caffeinated drill sergeant, always pushing collaboration while juggling client calls on her AirPods. I'm usually the peacemaker, bouncing ideas with Aisha over Slack or helping Leo brainstorm video scripts, but Derek's credit grabbing has me on edge. Last week, we were prepping for a big pitch to a vegan skincare brand. Vanessa wanted a game-changing campaign, and we had a week to deliver. In our brainstorming session, I kept my ideas vague, something about eco-conscious TikTok challenges, because Derek was looming, nodding like he was already planning his victory speech. After the meeting, he cornered me by the kombucha fridge, all buddy-buddy. Hey, your TikTok angle's got legs. Want to riff on it? I can polish it for the deck. Translation: he wanted my notes so he could slap his name on them. I'd seen this movie before, so I said, nah, I'm still fleshing it out. I'll share when it's ready. His smile twitched. Come on, don't be selfish. We're a team. I held firm, mumbled something about deadlines, and bolted to my desk. By the next day, Derek was on a mission. He told Aisha I was hoarding ideas and not playing ball. She texted me a heads up, watch out, he's spinning you as the bad guy. Sure enough, in our next team huddle, Derek played the martyr. I'm just trying to collaborate, but some people want to work solo, he said, glancing at me. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. We need all hands on this. No silos. I felt my face burn but stayed quiet, not wanting to air dirty laundry in front of everyone. Later, I pitched my full idea, a TikTok dance challenge tied to the brand's cruelty-free ethos with user-generated content and a charity donation per post. Vanessa loved it, but Derek jumped in, saying, that's like what we were discussing, right? I shut it down fast. Nope, this one's mine. He went red and Leo stifled a laugh. The fallout's been awkward. Derek's been icing me out, leaving me off email threads and forgetting to tag me in Slack. Aisha's on my side, she's dealt with his nonsense too, but Leo thinks I should have shared for the team's sake and let Derek hang himself later. Vanessa hasn't said anything directly, but she's been colder, like I've violated some unwritten code. Yesterday, Derek posted a cryptic X-rant about ego-driven coworkers with a thinking emoji, and I'm pretty sure it's about me. Even the intern, Priya, asked why I'm so protective of my ideas, like I'm the one being unreasonable. I'm torn. I worked hard on that campaign, late nights, endless post-it notes, playlists to spark creativity. Sharing with Derek would have meant watching him take credit again, and I'm done being his ghostwriter. Aisha says I did the right thing, but Leo's team player comment stings, and I'm worried Vanessa thinks I'm a diva. Maybe I could have shared a half-baked version to keep the peace or called him out directly instead of playing defense. Now the office feels like a high school cafeteria and I'm dreading the next pitch. I just wanted to protect my work, but am I the asshole for refusing to share with Derek? Or is he the one out of line for expecting a free ride?